I want to congratulate the newest member of the Houston Police Department's command staff, Commander Ben T. who has been appointed the Assistant Chief effective today, Monday, October the 19th. So, Chief Tien. Thank you so very much. Assistant Chief Tien is well known within the ranks of the Houston Police Department and in the community, and thanks in part to the excellent leadership he has provided in recent years during special events and during his prior command assignment at the South Gessner Patrol Division. He has been with HPD for more than 20 years, and in his new role, he will oversee Patrol Region 1 Command. He replaces recently retired Assistant Chief Henry Garr, who left us for Katy Independent School Districts, and again, congratulations to Chief Tien. Now let me turn to HPD as a whole in the city. The Houston Police Department is committed to having the right leadership and officers on the front line, men and women, to protect and serve our community. Unfortunately, major cities across the nation, including Houston, are experiencing an increase in homicides, shootings, and other crimes during the COVID-19 pandemic. There is no denying that the virus has contributed to anxiety and stress throughout as people cope with job losses, feeling of isolation, the illness or death of loved ones, children learning at home virtually, and fear of the unknown. An October 6 news article in the New York Times reported that the COVID-19 pandemic has frayed all kinds of institutions and infrastructure that hold communities together, that watch over streets, that mediate conflicts, that simply give young people something to do, programs devised to reduce gun violence and that prove effective have been upended by the pandemic. As a city, we have worked on these unprecedented times to help people holistically. For instance, the Houston Health Department launched a mental health support hotline, and again, which is available 7 days a week from 1 to 11 p.m., and you can reach that someone on that mental health support line by calling 713-999-9442, 713-999-9442. We have expanded the anti-trafficking division to include domestic violence because domestic violence calls are up, and Chief Acevedo has spoken to that previously. We also announced the Maker Collective, an economic empowerment program for survivors with wraparound financial services. Through skills training, we help survivors achieve financial independence. The city also provided 2 rental assistance packages totaling more than $35 million for Houstonians having trouble paying their rent as a result of hardships created by the pandemic. And the City of Houston passed the City Small Business Economic Relief Program, which will be funded with $15 million of the CARES 2020 funds. The program is for small businesses that are most in financial need and exhibit a moderate to high likelihood of surviving the pandemic's adverse impacts. And today, I'm announcing that to combat crime and decrease the numbers, in addition to all of those other initiatives, I have approved a COVID-19 related crime reduction program. We will put $4.1 million of CARES Act funding into an overtime initiative for the Houston Police Department. HPD is anticipating an upward trend of COVID-19 in the city of Houston as schools and businesses begin to open, and quite frankly, as the hardship caused by this pandemic continues. Overall, violent crime is up 11% in the city of Houston, and we want to do everything we can over the next 2.5 months to try to dampen that, that crime increase that we are seeing. There are 6 hotspots that are driving our violent crime numbers. Those spots are the West Side, South Gessner, North Belt, Southeast, South Central, and Midwest. Beginning today through the end of the year, There will be an additional 110 officers deployed each day to saturate those areas with the objective of reducing crime and increasing our law enforcement presence. Throughout those areas, HPD officers will be on proactive patrols to reduce crime. Chief Officer Acevedo will have more details in a few minutes, but the overall goal of this initiative is to drive down violent crimes by promoting safer neighborhoods through enforcement strategies, and by combining with all of the other things that we are doing. The hope is that we'll take a more holistic approach in meeting the needs of people as they go through this, as we all go through this crisis of the pandemic, but at the same time providing law enforcement with the additional resources, boots on the ground. Police cannot do it alone. HPD will coordinate its efforts with the business districts, business owners, local leaders, local community groups in conducting this overtime initiative. Each crime victim is more than a number. It is someone's family members, a father, a mother, or a child. And this is our city, and we must work together. And as mayor, I certainly will work with each and every one to do our part to keep a safe city. I close by simply saying that keeping a safe city is not up to HPD alone. It involves each and every one of us. And we recognize that we have to tackle it by doing things on multiple levels in order to address what we are seeing. Now let me pause and let me turn it over to Chief Acevedo.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor, so much for having us and for recognizing the promotions that we're going to be having today with your support, and to Commander now, Assistant Chief Bintan, congratulations. One of the things that he's a very humble man. He has served overseas in the United States Army. Actually, he's won the Bronze Star on more than one occasion, and you wouldn't know it because the man is just even keeled. And Martha Castex-Tatum has threatened to, me bodily harm, Mayor, because we're removing him from there. But like I told her, if she thinks he was a good commander, he's going to be just as good as an assistant chief. And behind him is Vidal Lopez, who will promote to commander #1 on the list. And we're very proud of him. He actually put together a lot of initiatives for our immigrant communities, and we're all proud of you, and thank you so much, Mayor, for your support. But we're here to talk about something that's near and dear to our hearts, and that's the safety of the people of Houston. And one of the things that I love about this city is that we're led by a mayor who's supported by a council that understands that investments in safety is not a luxury, but it's a priority and it's a necessity. And Mayor, I want to just say on behalf of all of us and the people that we serve, thank you for your support, and to your council colleagues, because we know that this year has been a year like no other year in the history of our nation, in the history of our city, in the history of our state, the history of this police department, where COVID is having an impact that is, from day one, we've talked about it as a three-pronged impact on the people of this country and really the free world, and that is the public health impact in terms of public health and the impact of the disease itself on people, the virus. Second was the economic impact on companies and on families and people losing their jobs. And the third piece is really the public safety impact, and that's what we're here to talk about. We know that when people lose their jobs, when people are stressed, when people are not out and about, that this is having an impact. And so today, thanks to the mayor and his leadership, we're going to be able to leverage our #1 asset, and that's the men and women on the front lines that will be using our data-driven initiatives, that will be relying on data to add more officers, more eyes, more visibility, and most importantly, more safety for our people and the people of Houston. We will focus, as the mayor said, on 6 hotspots, but we are constantly looking for hotspots. This can change because we know that it will have an impact, and if we displace the crime, the violent criminals, we are going to be watching it on daily basis, and we'll have tactical intelligence, and we will move our resources as needed because we know that displacement can occur. But the focus will be West Side, South Gesner, North Belt, Southeast, Midwest, and South Central. Now, that's the focus. It doesn't mean that we're not going to be working just as diligently in the rest of the city. And again, we will be using about 110 officers a day starting immediately. The other thing that this is going to really help us with, Mayor, is the CERT teams. I just came from the Major City Chiefs discussion. And this city does have a model, and that is our CERT team model. And thanks to the funding you're providing, we're going to be able to increase our CERT teams out in the field that can handle the mental health crises. They handle them very effectively, and we believe that this will have an impact as well. We're also very excited because you know that the more work that we do on the front lines to actually catch people committing crimes, it leads to investigative efforts, and we know that this funding is going to give us greater capabilities, not just in the front lines, but our investigative approaches. And we really believe that we're going to actually save lives. We won't be able to ever say and point to a specific case, or we may, but we can say definitively that as a result of this investment, that we will be much better positioned to actually disrupt, prevent, and actually uncover suspects of crime and bring them to justice. So on behalf of the victims who we will be able to secure justice for through this investment, thank you, Mayor and Council. And on behalf of the victims that will never become victims in the domestic violence efforts that we're going to be working on and so forth, thank you for your proactive work and for this investment. We look forward to sharing the results, and to the people of Houston, just remember, you are our eyes and ears. If you know something, say something, and call us right away. La Comunidad Latina, real quickly, gracias a Alcalde Turner por su liderazgo. Gracias a estos fondos de más de $4 millones. Sabemos que la violencia en este país por el COVID, por este virus, ha subido en todas partes del país, especialmente las ciudades grandes. Y gracias al liderazgo del alcalde Mayor y sus colegas, vamos a poder poner más de 110 policías diariamente en la comunidad, en nuestras calles, en nuestras escuelas, en nuestros lugares de negocio, para mantener la seguridad pública. Y más importante, sabemos que vamos a tener por el virus más víctimas. El crimen violento ha subido por el 11%, pero sabemos que la seguridad pública es algo que es muy importante, y gracias a este alcalde vamos a tener fondos que no hemos tenido para poder, de nuevo, 110 policías diariamente, más policías, investigadores, también nuestros esfuerzos y nuestras unidades que van a las llamadas a personas que están en la emergencia psicológica. Vamos a tener más unidades también haciendo eso y también combatiendo la violencia doméstica. Así que al alcalde, muchas gracias, y también felicidades a nuestro asistente jefe nuevo, Bentien, que con el apoyo del alcalde hoy va a ser, en vez de comandante, va a ser jefe. Y atrás de Bentien tenemos a Vidal López, número 1 en la lista de comandantes. Y también quiero felicitarlo a él y a su familia. El comandante López fue el que empezó muchas de nuestras iniciativas para educar a la comunidad hispana y migratoria y toda nuestra comunidad, que no tenga temor, que aquí estamos para ayudarlos y para dar seguridad. So again, Mayor, thank you very much for your leadership, and we look forward to keeping Houston safe.